First of all, welcome to the session once again. Great to see people here. Somebody far more intelligent than me once said that you can spend all your money, but you can earn it back. But once you spent your time, you can't earn it back. So well done and congratulations to everyone that's just attended for investing your time for yourself, in yourself, to grow yourself and your businesses. So first of all, let's all give ourselves a massive round of applause. Excellent stuff. Let's take a look at the agenda, and there should be no surprises. The agenda for today is the 7 steps to a winning team. Now, what I strongly recommend over here is you have your pen and notebooks together with you, because there's plenty of notes that you can take if you wish. Any questions, please type it into the question box or chat box. That way we can see any kind of questions that are coming across. Nimesh will be moderating it and maybe calling the questions out if I miss them from the chat box. So let's get started. 7 keys to getting a winning team. Now, why do we want a winning team? What's the reason for having a team that's doing really, really well? Well, from an accounting perspective, from Bloomberg's perspective, ultimately we want a solid team to help drive solid results, i.e. on the financial statements. So we all have healthy businesses producing great revenue. That's one of the reasons. So part of the agenda for today is going to include not just going through the 7 keys to getting a team that's performing really well, but also how can that benefit you commercially? We'll be relating it to how can that benefit you commercially. So before we get started, a bit of a disclaimer. There are many ways to skin a cat. Now, what I'll be talking through, guys, is going to be something that's worked for thousands of businesses, but take what's relevant to you because we're all in different journeys. We're all climbing different mountains. So we're at different points in our journey. So feel free to just take what's relevant to you. Not everything will be. So as a coach, my role will be to share some ideas and learnings with you, but also to ask thought-provoking questions. Thought-provoking questions which lead to action points so that you can go and take these actions and get the results that you want in your business. So I strongly recommend, as I ask these questions, as it provokes some thought, please write down some actions that you think are relevant to you. So you can go and walk away with some actions that you can take to start getting your team being more productive than they are at the moment. So let's get started. Now in business, what sometimes happens is that in a business, the business owner has 3 key areas that they've got to look after. First of all, the team and the challenges that come with managing the team. The second key area they're going to look after is the customers and the challenges that come with dealing with customer complaints, the customer nuances, and all the customer requests. And finally, the business owner's got to deal with the business itself, setting up processes, making sure nothing breaks, dealing with the regulation, etc., etc., etc. And eventually what happens is that there is a great, big, ugly red arrow pointing at the business owner, which means that everything relies on them. They're glued to the business. And this has been quite prevalent during the pandemic. Business owners have felt overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that rests on their shoulder. So when we work with our clients, we help the business owners to reset the priority to rebuild the team. Resetting the priority to rebuild the team, helping the business owner instill systems so that a team can run the business. So the question over here to you is, what systems can you build into your business to help your team run the business rather than you? We also switch focus to hiring, training, and retaining really good staff members, and also motivating and boosting career prospects to give the staff members that level of loyalty towards you again. So the question over here to ask is, what can you do in your business to help boost your customers' loyalty towards you? How can you promote them to help them feel like, yes, they're getting something back from the job? Because when you have a great team, they can look after the customers. And when you have great customers coming in, customers look after the business by bringing continual custom, bringing referrals, and giving good publicity through good reviews. And then the business can look after the business owner. So as you come out of lockdown and as you come out of the pandemic, how much focus are you giving on rebuilding and empowering your team to look after the customers that can look after the business, rather than the business owner facing all 3 areas of the business? What changes do you need to make is the first thing to think of. Because once we're following the green circle rather than the red arrow, what happens is you have a commercial, profitable business that can potentially work without you. But it all starts by looking at the team, which is what the focus of this webinar is going to be on. How can you switch the dial from the red arrow to the green? So let's get straight into it. The 7 keys to a winning team. Let's kick off with the first of the 7 steps, which is all about starting off with strong leadership. Starting off with strong leadership, it all starts at the very top. It starts with you as the business owners or the people with senior leadership. So friends, type into the chat box, what does strong leadership look like? What do you mean by a strong leader? By strong, I don't mean a dictatorial, medieval type of one, but a very good leader. What are the traits or the characteristics of a strong or a very good leader? Let's type into the chat box, please. Some characteristics of a strong leader. Yep, great communication skills, absolutely important. Paying attention to team members, yep, very good, awesome. What else? Giving direction, absolutely fantastic, really important, giving direction. So yeah, all of these are very important. All these are absolutely correct. But how can we apply this stuff? How can we actually get it into the team? And what is the best leadership approach? So let's explore and have a look at a certain leadership approach that we use when we work with our clients. So leadership styles. Now, there are plenty of leadership models that we can start applying into business, but let's focus on one that is central to many. What I'm going to share with you is a particular comprehensive summary of a practical model that can be applied in all businesses, which you can probably start using right away. So it goes by taking a look at a 2x2 grid. Starting off by taking a look at a 2x2 grid and the 2 extreme leadership styles: task-focused and relationship-focused. Leaders can be either task-focused. Task-focused meaning that this is when leaders' main focus is on getting the job done, telling staff exactly what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, what to do, etc., etc. And in this style, we can have a low task focus and a high task focus. On the other extreme, the second leadership style is to be very relationship driven or relationship focused. This is when the leader's main focus is on explaining, listening, encouraging, supporting, building rapport, empathizing, etc. Being more leadership driven. And again, we can have leaders who are low relationship driven and high relationship driven. So as you can see, when you combine these 2 different leadership styles, you get 4 different combinations, forming 4 different unique leadership styles: style 1, style 2, style 3, and style 4. So style 1 is all about a low relationship focus and a high task focus. Style 2 is all about having high relationship and high task focus. Style 3 is when the relationship focus stays quite high and the task focus drops. And finally, we're low on both ends, low relationship focus and low task focus. So guys, type into the chat box. Please type in which of these leadership styles is the best leadership style. Into the Q&A box, in fact, or the chat box rather, type into the chat box, what is the best leadership style for you? Or what do you think is the best leadership style generally? Okay, so we've got a vote for 2. Brilliant. Another vote for 2. 1 vote for a 3. Okay, it's getting some mixed results. Anything else? Okay, another vote for a 2. I'm seeing one more vote for a 1 coming in. Brilliant. So, in fact, I think we all together touched on different areas. And that's what the answer is. The answer is they're all good. There's no one leadership style that is better than the other. Why is that? Because different situations call for different leadership styles. And we must adapt our style, essentially. So this is called situational leadership. It's not about what we like to be known as leaders. It's not about what we're good at doing. It's about what's needed. So let's imagine, and let's take this example forward. Let's take this concept forward by way of example. Let's just imagine, for example, we've just opened up a cake and coffee shop in the high street, somewhere busy in Colindale High Street. We've opened up a cake and coffee shop, slap bang in the middle of the high street, and we've got some new staff members, and we're just finding our feet. In this kind of a state, we're a startup business. And in a startup business, typically, it's all about adopting style 1, where there is a low relationship focus and a high task focus, typically. And what I mean a low relationship focus, I don't mean completely not talking to our staff members. Of course, there's going to be an element of building rapport, getting to know what's important to them, building their trust, etc. It's typically a 70-30 split. 70% focus on 70% focus on task, 30% focus on relationship. Because from a business perspective, the team will need more measured and direct guidance, instructions on how to serve the customers, how to bake the cakes and make the coffees, etc. So typically, when a business is starting out, from what we've seen with a lot of business owners, style 1 typically works best. And as the popularity of the coffee shop rises and the business goes into a growth phase, and business also picks up, that's when style 2 kicks in. This is where style 2 is typically the right one, where there's a high relationship focus and a high task focus. Now, as the leaders of the business, we should typically be giving our staff members more confidence at this point, more emotional support, more encouragement, giving positive and constructive feedback, but at the same time, helping them keep the focus on learning and executing really, really well during this growth phase of the business. We're growing, so skill and execution are both really, really important. Then as the business steps into the maturity phase of its cycle, that's when style 3 typically kicks in. We really ought to let the team start running and showing more responsibility towards the business. And we can slowly start to take a step back. Our focus over here is to really start to stretch our team members and help them grow professionally. They can do the job, but how can we promote them? How can we take them from, say, analyst level to managerial level? How can we help them run our second branch if we want to open up a second branch? So this is where customer or staff loyalty really, really kicks in. As we help our staff members to grow, as we build a relationship with them to help them grow, that's where your staff loyalty, beg your pardon, is likely to kick in. And then after that, we move on to the 4th phase, or the 4th leadership style. This is where directors become independent. Staff more or less completely run the show and don't need much focus at all. We don't need to really look at what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. They've also grown and doing well in the business. And this is where we can really step away from the business. So in fact, we'll probably annoy them the more we tread on their toes on a day-to-day basis once the business is running really, really well. So the key point over here to understand is there is no one leadership style that's the right one. It all depends on the situation. So this is just one of the many models we use with our clients to help them become better leaders in their business. But this is one that's probably going to be the quickest one to share and help you guys take away something practical. So let's spend 30 seconds over here. And what I'd like you to do for your own benefit is to really ask yourself, what style is best for you and your business right now? And maybe type it into the chat box. What style is really, really important or relevant to your business right now? Spend 30 seconds thinking about that. Are you in the growth phase? Maybe are you in between the growth phase and the mature phase? And by recognizing what phase your business is in, that will probably give a good indication of what potentially a good leadership style would be for you. Awesome. Okay, so we've got a leadership style of 2 for a business that's in their growth phase. High relationship, high task, giving your clients that attention, that focus, the emotional encouragement to do well. Brilliant. So we've got a startup here as well, looking to probably think about adopting leadership style number 1. Okay. Good stuff. And a 4. Brilliant. We've got a business that's doing well, and we can slowly start to step back. Good stuff. So hope you spend a few seconds there thinking about what phase you're in and what's the right relationship style for you. And hey, look, even if you're in, say, the growth phase, there can be some staff members who are actually quite mature, and those staff members probably don't need too much of task focus. They could probably just deal with the relationship focus. So ask yourself as well, what kind of staff members do you have, and what phase are they in their particular career with you? So that's the first thing. Strong leadership style is all about knowing what is the right leadership style for you at that point in time for your business. Next is, so ask yourself, we've got a picture over there, an image over there rather, with 2 people on a boat swimming in different directions. Ask yourself, what would happen if a team sat in a boat and they were rowing in different directions? Would the boat go any far? Yes or no? Chances are probably stay where it is. So the point over here is, do your team members know where you are going? In which direction should they be rowing? By that I mean, do we have a clear and common goal? How clear has the team's goal, has the business's goal been made to your staff members? And is this goal something that enrolls and inspires them? Now, as business owners, typically, our goal is typically, not all the time, but typically to have a great business that makes profit, to pay the bills and more, typically, and also serve some commercial purpose, some personal purpose, etc. But will those motivations actually inspire staff members? Or do they have different motivations? So the first thing we'll think about is, how clear is your company vision? Where is it that you want the business to be rowing? And once you've got a clear company vision, how clear are your company goals? Because once you've got a clear company vision and you've got a clear company goal, then only will the team be able to row in the right direction. And right, if you've got clear company vision and clear company goals the way you want to go, how often as a team do we revisit these goals? Is it something we talk about on a monthly basis in team meetings? Is it something you've brought into your one-to-ones with your staff members? Because a lot of staff members will need reminding of where your business is going. Also, businesses are likely to change direction a lot. When we're rowing in the ocean, we like to just swim with the tides or row with the tides. And as your company's goals change, are we making it clear for our staff members so they can all row in the same direction as us? The amount of business owners I've come across that don't really talk to the staff members about their goals is unbelievable. So sometimes we need to set individual goals for our team members that collectively pull in the same direction. Not everybody's going to have the same goals. In this coffee shop, the front of house staff members are going to have very different goals to the back of house staff members. So setting individual goals, but all driving towards one common goal, is also important. The next thing to ask yourself is, how often are we measuring our progress towards these goals? Do our staff members know how their goals and how their targets are being measured? Because if they don't know how they're being measured, it becomes very difficult for them to perform effectively, and hence become effective and productive team members. So the question to you is, do you have a clear company vision? Maybe score yourself out of 10. How clear is your company vision? And how well do the team members know this? Once you've got a clear company vision, how well defined are your company goals? Company goals for the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? Are these well communicated and visited with your staff members? Are you showing them how to measure their progress? And finally, based on the key points from what we've taken away in this slide, what action do you feel you need to take? So let's just spend a minute over here reflecting on what we've just gone through, and think about, what action do you feel you need to take in relation to your company vision, your company goals? How are you revisiting them often enough? And how are you measuring them? Let's spend about 30 seconds taking a look at it, and maybe jotting down some key action points for yourselves over here. Okay. Hope you've written down an action point which is relevant to you. Remember, it's all about writing down points and actions that are relevant to you. So now we've got a business where the leadership style is pretty much being dictated by the circumstances. You're being the right leader for the business you're in right now. You've set some common goals that are going to inspire and involve your staff members, but also in line with the vision of the company. And you're now measuring and revisiting them as often as possible. So the next question is, what's next? Now, imagine a football match or a match in any kind of sports, be it tennis, boxing, rugby, etc. Imagine a sports match, but there were no rules. What would happen in the match? Imagine a boxing match without any rules. It would lead to a disaster, right? Absolute disaster in a match without any rules. Now, all athletes want to win. Similarly, with our staff members, all staff members typically, I'll come on to the other situation later on, but typically most staff members want to perform well. They want to do well for the business. So, but often in business, what we find is there are different team members that are going to have different roles, different agendas, different things to deliver. Front of house staff members in this cafe are going to be very customer focused, customer driven, and want to deliver great customer service. Whereas potentially the admin and the bookkeeping staff in this cafe may be very cost focused, cost driven, and may want to keep costs low. Both very valid objectives, but occasionally there may be a bit of clash in objectives over here. So naturally in business, just like in a football match, there are going to be clashes in the agendas for each of the team members. But to accommodate everyone, there needs to be a bit of a framework and a structure, what we call rules of the game. How should the game be played? Just like how in a football match, there are about 40 odd rules and the match is played within those 40 rules. What are the rules within your business? What are the do's and don'ts in your business? We call this a loose, tight culture. Setting the framework, setting the rules, how should people be operating, and then letting people be creative within that zone. Now, the rules you have in your business reflect the culture you set in a business. So the first question to ask of here is, what's your company culture? What do you drive for? What are the key values in the business? What are the key principles you want the business to be relied upon? If one of the key values in your business is professionalism, then one of the key rules of the game is going to be to arrive on time by 8:30, and the coffee shop should be able to serve customers by 8:45, for example. If one of the values in your business is having fun, then one of the rules of the game is going to be probably to have a laugh and a joke with customers as they walk through the door. And that could be one of the rules of the game. So the rules you have in your business are dictated by the culture you want to create in the business. So the question for you to think about here is, what type of culture have you defined for your business? Have you defined a culture for your business, or have you just let circumstance and experience and randomness create the culture in your business? And if you do have a culture in the business and you've defined it, what kind of rules of the game have you created to help facilitate and embed that culture? There are plenty of examples of businesses with the culture they want to have and the rules they create. For example, Google is a very clear example. One of the things they really, really value in their culture is fun and flexibility. A lot of the rules and how they run the game, I'm not going to go through it. It's all about flexibility and having fun. So think about your business. What is your business culture? What should it be? And are the rules in the game for your business congruent with your culture? So spend a moment over here just thinking about what action you want to take in relation to your culture and the rules of the game. We'll spend 30 seconds just pausing here for you to write on the biggest action that's coming through your mind right now. And I'm just going to keep an eye on the clock to make sure we're running on time. Okay, and just moving on to the next point. So now we have a business with good leadership style. We're using the right leadership model. We've got a common goal. We understand the culture and how people should be operating. What's next? An action plan. Ultimately, we know where we want to get to. We know where we are. It's about bridging the gap to find out how we're going to get there. All about creating an action plan to take us from A to B. So what consists of an action plan? Let's go back to the coffee shop. The first thing is, in an action plan for your team members, is to have a real solid job description. Do they know what their responsibilities are? I don't mean the kind of job description they put out when you trying to get an ad, trying to recruit people and the ones you create to give to your recruitment agencies, but real job description, almost like a checklist of what your team members should and shouldn't be doing. Do they have clarity on what they've got to do? A lot of times, staff members, what we've found is typically don't perform to the optimum without having clarity on what they've got to do. Just like in a football match, what are the responsibilities for your left back or your right back? What are the responsibilities for your wicket keeper? Have you noted these down? Do they know what they are? So it all starts off by giving staff members clarity of what they should be doing. Can be daunting in a new staff in a coffee shop, but it's absolutely vital. Giving people direction of what they've got to do. The next thing is positional contracts. And this may be a bit of a new term to many people. What's a positional contract? A positional contract is essentially a job description, but driven by KPIs and numbers. Why? Because numbers are the language of business. What should the numbers be looking like for these staff members? How many coffees should they be able to serve in any particular hour? How many people waiting in a queue is an acceptable number before we open up the second till? Giving staff members numbers of how they should be operating brings clarity, because through all the ages of time, it's shown that the majority of the people get more clarity when you explain things to them by numbers. And when they don't meet these numbers, it means that we've got to do some work around that. We'll take a look at the skill and the will of the employee and staff member. Do we need to upskill them, or do we need to work with their will, the willingness to meet certain numbers? For example, in football matches or in football, players have a positional contract. If they don't make 40 assists in a season, they're not going to get a pay rise. That's a bit of an extreme example, but it's all tied to numbers. So think about your numbers. Are your staff members clarity driven by numbers? Next thing is milestones. Do they have appropriate deadlines to achieve certain things? For example, in this coffee shop, the front of house staff members may have a project to improve customer service, and they have come up with a mini project plan of how they're going to deliver great customer service. Brilliant. But have we given them or helped them come up with milestones of when they're going to be rolling out each step? Because a lot of times ideas come and go, but we've got to keep them grounded and anchored by giving and helping them come up with deadlines of when they're going to achieve certain things. Now, staff members are going to get very busy from time to time. It's our role to help them come up with when they're going to achieve certain things. And what we've found is a lot of staff members get disheartened, their business owners get disheartened when things don't get done. And one way to make sure they get done is stick a date by it. When is it going to get done? Hold ourselves to account. So maybe ask yourselves, do you need to be giving your team members more milestones, deadlines, and dates by which they're going to achieve certain things? Because that could just give a bit more clarity of what's expected of them and help them manage your expectation if they're on track. The next thing is training. What training have you given to your staff members? Are they due for some more training or more reminders of how to do certain things? The world may have changed, processes may have changed. Have the training got to change to meet that? Because if we don't show them what good looks like, it becomes very difficult for staff members to know what good looks like. So maybe ask yourself, what kind of training do you think your staff members are due? Should you be training them, or should somebody more experienced that's been doing the role training other people? And last but not least, how-to guides. How about all the jobs and responsibilities carried out in your business? Do you have a clear blueprint of how things need to be done? Has it been clearly laid out for your staff members to follow? If not, they'll keep asking you and they'll keep dragging you into helping them too often. And it's not a bad thing. but that could be detracting you from doing other things you should be doing. So ask yourself, do you have the right how-to guides in your business so that staff members can refer to that if they want to help, if they need help completing certain items of work, rather than keeping on distracting you? So let's spend a couple of minutes over here again, a minute over here, looking through these 5 key areas to create good action plans. Score yourself out of 10. Score yourself out of 10 in each of these 5 areas. How clear and well communicated do you feel is the job description for your staff members? Have you created a positional contract of what the key KPIs should be to help them achieve what they're going to achieve? Give us a score out of 10 on milestones. How good or clear are you at giving milestones, deadlines, and timeframes on achieving certain things? Training, give yourself a score out of 10 on that as well. And how-to guides. What's the quality of your procedures and how-to guides in your business so that the staff members can go and run processes and things without necessarily dragging you into it? So we'll spend 30 seconds of here for you to just put into the give yourself a score. And whatever score you give yourself, a 7, 8, 9, whatever it may be, just think about the next step. What 1 or 2 things can you do to take that from, say, an 8 to a 9? Over the next few weeks, a few months, you decide, what does a 9 look like if you'd given yourself an 8? What does an 8 look like if you'd given yourself a 7? And that in itself could be an action point for you to take away. Okay, so just move on to the next point now. So now we're giving our staff members clarity on how they've got to do what they've got to do. Now, at the moment, one of the key challenges a lot of business owners face is working from home. Are our staff members being productive working from home? Fair question, absolutely fair question. But it all boils down to, generally, these 5 areas. Have we given them clarity on what they're supposed to be doing, when they're supposed to be getting it done by? Do they have a plan? What are the expectations? Have we given them training on doing the things from home? And have we created guides so that they can refer to those as and when needed? Now, moving on, once we've got an action plan, see, our businesses are like trees. They're either growing or they're dying. One of the two. They're either growing or they're dying. And in order to grow, we must support risk-taking. Because in order to grow, we must challenge ourselves. And when we challenge ourselves, we start to creep out of our comfort zone. So the question to ask over here is, are you stepping outside your comfort zone? Because the moment you step out of your comfort zone, we challenge ourselves to grow. And it's not just going to be just about the business owners growing, but also our staff members growing as well. Are our staff members stepping outside their comfort zone, or are they doing what they've always done and done what they're always good at doing? Because if our staff members don't grow, chances are the burden falls on the business owner. So the thing to think about over here is, are we challenging our staff members to step out of their comfort zone? And are we helping them to step outside their comfort zone? Imagine in this coffee shop, imagine the coffee shop or this cake shop didn't bring in a new range of coffee, new types of cakes, snacks, or theme days, etc. Would the coffee shop go very far? Chances are it probably wouldn't. Imagine if the chef didn't want to try new dishes, new recipes, or the staff members didn't want to change the way they operate. Would the coffee shop go very far? So the question to ask yourself over here is, are your staff members happy and willing to take a risk and do something they've not done before? Are you creating the platform for them to take a risk and do something that they've never done before? And the key thing over here is not just the business owner that's got to take the risk, but also the staff members as well. So at this point, probably ask yourself, How well have you set yourself up and set the business up to take risks? Have you given them the action? Is it part of their action plan to try new ideas out? Is it part of the objectives to come up with new ideas? Are you sitting with them and listening to their ideas so they can go and extrapolate them? The supporting risk taking is the next best, is the fifth step in getting the most from your team members. The next step after that, so who's ever been employed at some stage in their life and found that they were operating in teams in very short silos, where the boss or the manager keeps you in the dark, doesn't tell you what's going on, there's lack of cohesion. Show of hands if you ever worked in a team where there's that happened in the past somewhere. Chances are you probably experienced a bit of that. So the key thing over here is involvement, 100% involvement. Their opinions matter. Are you showing your staff members that their opinions matter? Are you showing them, giving them the importance and value in what they're talking about? Open and honesty. How strong is that part of your culture? So that they can voice their thoughts and ideas and concerns to you and your business. And are you helping them feel included? People from different backgrounds, different cultures, different thought leadership styles, different experiences, helping to get the best out of them. How open and how welcoming is your body language and your language in the business to invite people to give their opinions, thoughts, ideas, and be open and honest with you? Now, this also works the other way around. At the same time, if you're going to be doing whatever you can to keep your staff members 101% involved, are your staff members giving you 100% of them? Or are they holding stuff back? Are they holding back their efforts? Are they holding back their skills? It's got to work in both ways, and that's got to be identified. So ask yourself, what can you do to make your business a more inclusive place to work and for your staff members to feel that they can go and give opinions, thoughts, ideas as and where appropriate? A great way to help this happen is through team meetings. We operate team meetings using the Lion structure. The Lion structure is where we have 4 key phases in the meeting. The L stands for last week. What are the key actions from last week that we should have completed by this week? The L. Then it's the I. I stands for ideas, initiatives, and improvements. So this week, after working this week, what ideas, initiatives, and improvements have we come up with as a team? A great way to be involved. For all the team members to throw in their ideas, initiatives, improvements, ideas of what they come up with. The next step is O. O stands for obstacles. What obstacles have you come across this week? What challenges have you come across this week? And what did we learn from it? What can we do about it? All these open questions involve the whole team. And then the N stands for next steps, right? Based on the I, the ideas and improvements, based on the O, the obstacles, what next steps can we take as a team? Really engage as a team. And at that point, that's where we add in some accountability, dish out some action points for different people to take. So think about your business. What kind of structure can you adopt to get more involvement from your team members? And last but not least, the final point is communication. How often are things misunderstood in teams? How often do things fall between cracks? How often do we need to say the same point in different means, through email, through voicemail, through face-to-face, etc.? The thing is, we're all human beings, and different human beings respond to communication in a different way. So the point over here is communication is the cause of and solution to most problems. So rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How good is the communication in your business from top to bottom, left to right? And think about things such as feedback. How solid, clear, forward-looking is the feedback you give to your staff members, or vice versa? Giving updates on progress. How clear is your communication on updating the team on your business strategy? How are we doing? Where are we at? What needs to be done next? How would you rate on a scale of 1 to 10 the quality of your team meetings? Is everybody contributing? Is everyone feeling inspired to talk about what they're doing? How often are you running these team meetings? Do your team meetings lead to the right actions? The quality of your one-to-one meetings with your staff members, how would you rate the quality of that? Are they leaving each meeting with more clarity, more direction, and more motivation after you've spoken to them before? Big one, especially in this day and age. How much empathy and compassion are you showing your team members? And finally, positivity. How much energy and positivity you bring into your meeting? All of these things form part of very good communication. And when we work with our clients, we help them perfect each of these 6 areas and more for them. Now, obviously, in this session, we haven't got the time to go through each of the areas in more detail. But guys, if you feel like you want to discuss any one of these 7 points in more detail, feel free to take down my email address, and more than happy to have a 30, 60-minute catch up with you guys to help show exactly how you can implement some of these particular areas into your business so you can take drastic action sooner rather than later for yourselves. So there we have it, the 7 keys to getting the best out of your team. It all starts off from the top with strong leadership, then bringing it down to your common goals. What are the common goals you can create that inspires and enrolls the entire team and gives them direction of where to row? Once you've shown them where you want to get to, you show them how you're going to get there through the rules of the game and the action plan. Now, along the way, as we're rowing, we're going to have to take risks. We have to do things we've not done before. So are we supporting our team members to feel inspired to take risks? And obviously, learning is going to be really important along the way as well. So are we having the right kind of communication to keep people involved and enrolled all the time through step 6? And step number 7, communication just spans across the above 6 points. And are we communicating on these areas as well as we should be? But then again, right at the beginning of the session, I asked the question, hey, look, why do we need to get the best out of a team? Well, there's a commercial reason behind that, right? We want to get the best out of a team, probably for the bottom line, so our business functions really, really well, so our cash flow works really, really well, so our staff members can contribute towards profitability generally. So what we're now going to take a look at is the 5 ways to massive results. The 5 ways to massive results. And this is actually a marketing strategy. Once we've got a team working really, really well, we can use some of their resource and ideas and structure in helping us do marketing and get the best out of business from a marketing perspective. So can I see a show of hands, guys, if finding out a way of generating more cash is something that's important to you guys right now? By way of show of hands. Brilliant stuff. Almost everyone. Lovely. So let's take a look at the 5 ways to get some more cash into your business. It's called the 5 ways marketing strategy. Now I'm going to try my best to not speak really fast at this stage because I get really excited every time I show this 5 ways marketing strategy. But if I do speak really fast, do throw something at me. So in business, some of the most important numbers, the number of customers we have, how much revenue we're generating, and how much profit we're making. Show of hands if you feel that these are some of the most important numbers in business. Yep, okay, getting agreement from most people. Right, see, I'll tend to disagree. These are probably some of the least important numbers in business. Why? Because there's an equal sign in front of these numbers, which means that these numbers are actually outputs. We can't directly affect the outputs. What we can do is directly affect the inputs. So the question then is, what are the inputs for these numbers? So what I'm going to share with you is an equation which shows the front to back of a business that can help us generate more customers, more revenue, more profits. So let's see what the inputs are to generate more customers, revenues, and profits. First of all, leads. We need leads, first of all. A lead is somebody that's shown interest in our business. Somebody that said, I'm interested in this coffee shop. That's what we call a lead. I've taken their leaflet, I've gone to their website, I've walked past it and snooped up their menu. Those are what we call leads. Once we've got leads, we're going to think about how to convert them. How to convert the interested people. So the first point over here is, how many leads are we generating and how good are we at converting? Which leads to customers. Leads times conversion equals customers. Then we've got customers in the door. How do we turn that into revenue? Well, the number of customers multiplied by the number of transactions they do, multiplied by the average value of the sale, leads to revenue. And the more transactions they do, and the higher the average value of the sale, the bigger the revenue, right? So we've got revenue coming through the door. Then we think, right, how do you go from revenue to profit? Easy, subtract all the costs, or multiply by the profit margin. So here we have it, an equation or a formula that takes us from the very beginning of a business to when we generate a lead, right down to the bottom line, the profit. So you may think, Amit, great, you've shown us an equation which kind of divides our whole business up into different areas from lead generation right down to profit. Great, what do we do with that? What we'll do now is we'll just plug some numbers in here to see what it can look like for you and what you can do with this. So let's just imagine this coffee shop again, and let's just imagine we've got a high-end coffee shop that's selling lots of high-end cakes, desserts, etc., etc. And this coffee shop generates 4,000 leads per year. 4,000 leads per year is about 250, with a year with 250 working days, means that this cake shop generates 8 leads per day, which is about pretty reasonable. 8 leads per day, 8 people being interested in the coffee shop, picking up the leaflet, coming through the door, having a look at the menu, etc. 8 leads per day and 4,000 leads per year. And let's imagine that there is a conversion rate of 25%. Conversion rate of 25% is about the norm in the retail industry. So let's imagine conversion of 25 means that this business generates 1,000 customers a year. It's 1,000 customers a year. Then we think, okay, brilliant, got 1,000 customers a year. Let's imagine they come into this coffee shop twice a month. They come into this coffee shop twice a month, or twice a year rather, to take their grandson out for dinner or take their friend out for a tea and a coffee or whatever it is. And let's just imagine they spend £100 a go. Now you may think £100 is a big number, but I'm just using straightforward, easy numbers so that we can do the mental arithmetics quite quickly. They're spending £100 a go. They're buying some fancy cake, some fancy coffee, and it comes 100 quid. That leads to a revenue of £200,000. A £200,000 a year business. Sounds reasonable for a coffee shop or a cake and dessert shop, whatever we want to call it. And let's just assume, typical to a lot of coffee shops, that they've got a profit margin of 25%, which leads to a profit of £50,000. So you may think, great, we've got a business, we've divided it all up in terms of the key areas of the business, lead generation, conversion, helping them to buy more, profit margins, and we've got a business of £50,000. See, the beauty of this equation is, and you want to write this down, businesses grow by us dividing to multiply. Businesses grow by us dividing to multiply. What do I mean by dividing to multiply? See, when we work with our clients, what we do is we work with about 3 to 5 strategies to help them improve and increase the number of leads they get. And we work with them consistently for an entire year. So think about your business. What can you do? What actions can you take? Or what strategies can you adopt to generate more leads and across the year? And can you apply it consistently? For example, digital marketing, face-to-face direct mail, email marketing. What lead generation activities can you do for an entire year? Same with conversion rate. When we work with our clients, we think, right, okay, then what can we do to boost their conversion rate? What can we do to make their products sell quicker? And we apply 3 to 5 strategies to help them increase that throughout the year. Number of transactions. How do you get customers to do repeated business? What are we doing to get repeated business? And when we work with our clients, we help them apply 3 to 5 strategies so they can increase the amount of business they get on a repeated business basis. Average value for sale. How can we boost the average value of a sale each time somebody comes and works with you? Again, think about your business. If you were to apply 3 to 5 approaches to increase the average value for sale, what would the impact be? And finally, profit margins. What can you do to improve the profit margins in your business? What kind of systems can you create? Have you worked and sat with your accountant to discuss where you can cut your costs and how you can improve your margins? So when we work with our clients, we come up with different ways of attacking each of these 5 areas. So the question to you is now, if you were to systematically, with a proper plan and a proper structure, apply different strategies to generate more leads, different strategies to increase your conversion rate, do you feel that you can boost each of these numbers by 20% by the end of the year? Ask yourself that question. And if you can't convince yourself that you can increase these numbers by 20% by the end of the year, let's just go with a 10% increase. Let's just imagine that we work on each of those 5 areas and increase them all by just 10% each, a minuscule 10%. So here we have the equation, all the numbers again, and think, right, after working on 3 strategies for an entire year, we're going to take our leads from 4,000 to 4,400. Again, after improving our sales methodology and our sales process, we're going to improve our conversion rate from 25 to 27.5%, not 25 to 35, but 25 to 27.5%, a 10% rise. And let's take a look at the impact that can have on the number of customers. We get an extra 210 customers. You can see where this is going. Dividing to multiply. We divide our business to compound and multiply the effect of working on all 5 areas at once. So we've got 1,210 customers. Then we think, right, okay, across the board, let's work on strategies to increase repeated business. How can we attract these 1,210 customers come back to us again and again? Again, we apply some strategies to get repeated business and increase that from 2 to 2.2. And then the average sell. How can we give them more value to then also charge them more? How can we improve our target marketing to find the right customers that are likely to spend more often with us? And when we work with our clients, we find a way to raise their prices. So let's just say in this example, the prices go from 100 to 110 pounds. So what's the compounded effect of that? It increases your revenue from 200 to 292,820. That's a big jump. That's a 46% increase in revenue just by working on increasing the above 4 areas and increasing them all by just 10%. So the question here is to ask yourself, what kind of strategies can you use to increase these 4 areas by just 10% and sticking by them for an entire year? And once you've got an increase in revenue, you think, right, how do we increase our profit margins? What systems can I adopt? What processes can I create? What can I outsource? Where can I go and ask for a discount for minimizing my costs? The question to you is, do you reckon you can improve your margins by just 10% over the next year? Because if you can, and do the above 4, you can be in line for a huge profit rise. So when we work with our clients, we work on these 5 areas, choosing 3 to 5 strategies for each and helping them implement what they can do. So that's a 46% increase in revenue and a 61% increase in profits. So a question for you to ask yourself is a 46% and a 61% increase in your business something that you'd like? Now, obviously, in this webinar, I've not had a chance to go through all the strategies they can use to increase leads, increase conversion rate, increase your profit margins. But what we're welcoming you to do is book yourself in for a session, a complimentary half an hour to 45-minute session. Thanks to Grunberg & Co. They've helped us and our clients a lot over the pandemic. So what we did agree with them is say, hey, look, we're happy to help you and your clients to benefit from a one-to-one session. We can help improve certain areas of your business, whether it's the team stuff we spoke about earlier on, or whether it's this stuff we spoke about now, so that you can actually go and take tangible actions to go and improve your business. So let's create a bit of a summary, shall we? We've gone through so much information, slide after slide, plenty of things. So what's really important, I feel, when it comes to webinars for people is to just walk away with something condensed, like a one-pager. We're all massive fans of one-pagers. So I'm going to just summarize and condense a lot of the things we went through for you to then select what are the key areas you want to focus on over the coming weeks and months. So first of all, we spoke about creating strong leadership. Consider situational leadership. What's the right situation in what's the situation in your business right now? And which of the 4 leadership styles do you feel you need to select for your business? Number 2 is common goals. Have we created a common goal to create clarity for our team members? Where are we all rowing towards? Rules of the game. What match rules have you created for your team? What culture have you got in your business, and what are the rules of the games to drive that culture forward? Next thing is your action plan. What will they do and how will they do it? You all gave yourself a score out of 10 on job contracts, position, job descriptions, action plans, etc. What do you need to work on? Number 5, supporting risk taking. Are you and your team trying new things and embracing life outside of their comfort zone? Because nothing grows in a comfort zone. It's all about what grows outside the comfort zone. Finally, involvement. Is there 100% two-way relationship between yourself and your staff members? Number 7, communication. What can you do to improve the feedback, the compassion, the one-to-ones, team meetings? What can you do to bring positive energy into your business? And finally, we just looked at the 5 ways to grow your profits. Which area do you feel you need to work on? Generating more leads, improving your conversion, getting more business, repeated business, raising prices or profit margins. So friends and family, here is our email address, Amit Sodha at ActionCOACH.com, or helping you grow at ActionCOACH.co.uk. If you want to get in touch to book yourself in for a session for some one-to-one guidance and specific challenges you have, feel free to do so. It'd be lovely to speak to you. But closing words from my side are: words can inspire, thoughts can provoke, but only action brings success. Guys, you made some promises to what you're going to do. Take some action. You've been an amazing audience. Thanks for your participation. Let's get cracking. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Over to you, Nimesh.
Thank you, Amit. That's a brilliant session as always. So much to learn in such a short space of time as well. So yeah, like Amit mentioned, he's offering a complimentary session to follow on. So yeah, there's much more that he can help you with in addition to what we've looked at here today. This is only the beginning, really. So yeah, thank you very much, Amit, for your time and for being so generous to put on this session.
Brilliant. Yes, thank you, Joe, as well. Thank you, Nimesh, for your kind words. And it was good fun. It was really good fun. Thank you for the opportunity. Friends, have a wonderful week, and let's get cracking. Bye-bye.